So we're going to go from CAL, culture of war, to COP, culture of peace. Let's get alternatives. Let's move from the CAL to the COP. What's the alternative to authoritarianism? You've had your hand up all the time. What's up?
Mine's not really an alternative to authoritarianism.
Okay. What's an alternative to authoritarianism? Yes?
Proper distribution of power.
Proper distribution of power, all right. Can we put that in one word? Okay, democracy. Now, here's a problem. Don't forget, we are now a team. We are now drafting a document for the UN. Democracy. It's the People's Democratic Republic of North Korea. We got a problem. I got an idea. Let's call it democratic participation. How's that? Is that all right? Okay, so number one, democratic participation. Propaganda. What's the alternative to propaganda? By the way, there's something that goes with propaganda in control. It's because the more general is control of information. Something we didn't mention, which has always been essential to the culture of war: secrecy. Secrecy. Okay, so what's the alternative to control of information? Transparency. Yep. Or the jargon that we always used in the UN was free flow of information, which is the same thing. Okay, we got cooperation, right? Because we got competition, so the alternative is cooperation. Alternative to the military-industrial complex. One word. Disarmament. Alternative to misunderstanding and enemies. Tolerance. Now, tolerance is a problem because the way it's been defined very often is, I hold my nose and I tolerate you. So let's put some other words with it to make sure it's strong. Solidarity, tolerance, solidarity, friendship, mutual understanding, etc. Okay? Alternative to nationalism and ethnocentrism. Yeah, cosmopolitan internationalism. The trouble with globalization is that sometimes that means General Motors. I mean, let's just be careful with our connotations. But I know we could say globalization, yes, but we just got to know that we're not talking about huge enterprises to better exploit people. That's all. Restrictions of liberty. Why are we here? Human rights. Education for illusion. How about education for a culture of peace? A different kind of education, an education to prepare people for a culture of peace. Camila, okay? Yeah, for a culture of peace, and we'll put truth there somewhere. Control of resources. Okay, in the UN jargon, what are we going to call that? Equitable development. How about putting in sustainable too, huh? Equitable, sustainable development. Everybody okay with that? And we almost forgot male domination. What's the answer to that? Equality. And instead of political ideology, why don't we instead of political ideology, why don't we fold that into education for a culture of peace? Can we do that? Because we got 10. I think 10's enough. Okay, now, the Declaration and Program of Action was adopted by the United Nations in 1990 for the International Year, 1999 for the International Year for the Culture of Peace in the year 2000. It was bitterly opposed by all rich countries. The United States delegate said, my country is opposed to this resolution because if it is adopted, it will be more difficult to start a war. The stenographer was Anita Amorim, whose father is Celso Amorim. Anybody here from Brazil? So you know who is Celso Amorim, yes? His daughter was the stenographer. And she said, Mr. Ambassador, I'm not sure I heard you properly. Would you please say that again so I can write it correctly? My country is opposed to this because if it is adopted, it will be more difficult to start a war. Now, the original resolution had for each point the transition from a culture of war to a culture of peace. The European Union delegates said, no, there is no culture of war. In the United Nations, we cannot ever mention culture of war. Take it all out. So all of this is out. But the ambassador from Bangladesh, Mr. Chowdhury, who your next leader, Joanne, knows very well, was very clever and very patient. He said, all right, we take out the culture of war. We take out this and that and everything. But we keep this. And so the final resolution has 8 points. Democratic participation, free flow of information, disarmament, tolerance, solidarity, and international understanding, human rights, education for a culture of peace, equitable, sustainable development, equality of women. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is the program of the United Nations adopted in 1999, which stands along with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights as one of the great documents ever adopted by the